Hey everyone, Jake here. This is my 1000 round review of the Head Instinct MP 100 for 2025. Today I will go over the power, spin, control, fatigue, and price point of this racket. My goal is to help other people find a racket that best suits them. I myself went through a phase of trying dozens and dozens of other rackets and hurting my arm in the process, so I just want to try to help people avoid that as well. The structure I follow to test these rackets is hitting at least 1,000 tennis balls, 150 forehand cross court, 150 backhand cross court, 150 down the line forehand, and 150 down the line backhand, 50 volleys forehand, 50 volleys backhand, 50 serves deuce side, 50 serves ad side, 50 slices forehand, 50 slices backhand, 50 lobs forehand, and 50 lobs backhand. Why I do this is for two reasons. One, to test the fatigue level of the racket. How does my arm feel after hitting 1,000 tennis balls? And number two, to help get over the hump of using a racket I'm not used to. All right, so let's get into the specs of this new head racket for 2025. The unstrung weight is 10.6 ounces. The balance is 4 points head light. The head size is 100 square inches. The string pattern is 16 by 19, and the recommended tension is 48 to 57 pounds. Now this racket is a demo, so this is currently strung at 55 pounds with just some head synthetic gut for strings. And the paint job is black with a nice soft blue. This color is actually my wife's favorite color. She said if she was getting a racket just for looks, she would probably go with this racket. So I'm really biased towards the paint job of this racket. All right, number one, power. The amount of power I was getting from this racket was phenomenal. At first, I could tell my shots were going long just because I wasn't used to all the extra power coming through this racket, especially with my forehands and backhands, my regular ground strokes. Power was doing really well coming off of this racket.
There it is.
I could tell the weight of the ball on the other side of the court was actually doing pretty well. It was really skipping off the court and hitting the back of the wall, and I could tell just by the sound that the ball had a lot of power coming off of that court.
There it is. Whew.
Now, before I get ahead of myself, one thing I have to note is I don't look at the specs before I play. I just take it out and play. When I was playing with this racket, I thought for sure this was a head-heavy racket, just going off of feel. Even though in the specs it says head light, though I think I know why I thought this was a head-heavy racket. Now, I know this method isn't perfect, but at least it creates a visual. So I have the Wilson Aggressor from Walmart, the Head Instinct for 2025, and then my Babolat Pure Strike. So if you look, the Wilson Aggressor from Walmart is a head-heavy racket where the handle's pointing up, head's pointing down, and the Head Instinct MP is right in the middle. My Babolat Pure Strike is pointing up from the head, handle's pointing down. And I'm used to playing with headlight rackets, so this gap right here, I could feel that difference, and I assumed that this was a head-heavy racket. Seeing this now, I understand why I felt a little bit off playing with the Head Instinct. But when it comes to power, I could tell that the Head Instinct was doing really, really well with power.
Look at this. Broke my cone on that last shot.
Moving on. Number two, spin. Not a ton of extra spin, but you could get a decent spin coming off of this racket. I noticed when I would let the racket do the work, especially on my ground strokes, my shots were way, way better. So when I was trying to swing at the same speed as my Babolat Pure Strike, I could tell that my shots were not that good. But when I slowed down just a little bit and took off some of that swing speed, took off just a little bit of power and let the racket do the work, my shots were way, way better. So yes, spin is good, not crazy through the roof, but it's there. All right, number three, control. Now this was a big surprise for me because this is a 100 square inch head, but the control from this racket was really, really good. The ball was going where I wanted it to, even on some of the shots where I would take a swing at full power.
There it is. Ooh. Right on.
Even the shots where I was swinging at 80, 90%, and even when my arm got tired, I could still place shots where I wanted them to go. Even though the head is 100 square inches, in my opinion, the control is really, really good. Number 4, fatigue. Now, I could tell by the time I got to serves, which was at the end of the session, my arm was just dead, and I had a really hard time making in my first serve.
Oh, way long. Okay, first one in.
But my second serves, I could make in with ease.
All right, there it is. Got a nice kick to it. I like that.
I think part of the reason why I fatigued faster with this racket than maybe some of the other rackets is because I struggle with head-heavy rackets. The way my form is, the way my style is, a racket like this takes a toll on me. Even though this racket isn't fully, head heavy, the weight distribution for the head racket is pretty even, pretty neutral. With my play style, with the way that my form and stuff is, this small difference is a big difference, and it took a toll on my arm. Not as bad as the Wilson Aggressor, not even close. But I did notice it at the end, and my arm was pretty tired to the point where I couldn't even get my first serve in. And that's just for me personally. If you're someone that's used to a racket that has this kind of balance, or a head-heavy racket, this won't be a problem for you at all. But if you're someone that's used to a headlight racket, this might throw you off just a little bit. Or maybe not, you're probably just a better player than I am. So number 5, price. The price for this racket is actually really good. Right now it's $170, which surprised me for a brand new racket for 2025. The price is really good for what this racket offers, especially if you're someone that's looking for power and control. In conclusion, I would suggest this racket to intermediate and advanced players, leaning a little more towards the advanced players. If you're someone that doesn't have a problem with a well-balanced racket or a head-heavy racket, then this racket's for you. Now, if you're someone like me where you're used to playing with headlight rackets, this might throw you off at first. But if you're looking for a racket that has more of that power, but you still want that control, this racket is a really good deal, especially for the price that it's at. That's a really good deal. That's my 1,000 round review of the Head Instinct MP for 2025. Let me know in the comments what racket you want me to review next, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.
I'm really struggling with my first serve, but second serve's not bad. I'll do 2 more power on this side, then I'll go to second serve. God, long again. All right, last one. My arm's about to fall off. Not ending on that one. Come on. Come on. Give me something. Oh. Hallelujah.